So hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Mitsurugi. And specifically, well, how strong is Mitsurugi actually? So if we're looking at Mitsurugi right now, they're pretty much at full power. So there's only one change that needs to be made to effectively hit this deck. So if we do consistency hits, it honestly doesn't really do anything to this deck. It's kind of dumb, really. It only affects Mitsu Pier. And speaking of Mitsu Pier, like, you don't care really too much that you're hitting Mitsu Pier because, well, there's just actually they wouldn't even be that insane of consistency hits or whatever for Mitsu Pier. Uh, the main thing that's problematic about Mitsurugi is that's splashable with like everything. Notably, like, let's say if I want to play branded Mitsu, that's fine because I'm only fusion locked and it can't really ritual lock me. I'm just essentially my extra deck. I can only special summon fusion monsters and rituals. Like they're kind of like boss monsters as well. Like they're equivalent to almost like extra deck monsters, except in this case I'm literally not summoning from the extra deck. That's about the only difference. They're in the main deck, but essentially it'd be not that much different from playing a synchro deck plus a fusion deck functionally in terms of like the end board. But yeah, you're just able to do this for some reason. But all right, the only hit that I think is ever going to be worthwhile is you just murder habakiri. Okay, you just ban this card. That's it. Now, I mean, there is a little bit of downside, but in terms of Mitsurugi now, the only reason you would play Mitsurugi would be to play Mitsurugi Pier. And that completely just kills the splashable kind of like Mitsurugi stuff. So the thing about Habakiri that's problematic here is no lock, completely generic, and super easy to search, like unfathomably easy to search. So let's just real quick go over some really stupid ideas in my opinion. So we ban Herald because Herald can search Habakiri, okay? Sure, let's say we do ban this, okay? So now that will hit specifically a few of the search cards that work on Habakiri. So specifically Diviner of the Herald will no longer be able to search Habakiri. And then we have what was the card called? Nadir Servant? Oh no. Wait. Is this a 3 again? Yeah, it's back to 3. Nadir's Servant can no longer send a copy of Herald of the Arclight for you in order to search, I guess. Cool. And then technically there's also one more Dogmatic card. Let's see. This one. Maximus. You cannot do Maximus effect to banish whatever and then summon like Herald of Arclight. You can't do this one either. Oh no. Woe is me. So I mean technically you could run I guess in theory 3 Maximus as well. But alright, let's go over some things that we have afterwards. Well, also worth mentioning, some people were talking about banning King of the Feral Imps, which I think is like just a waste of time. Like, cool. Yeah, now that I think about it, this card actually has a soft once per turn. So technically, if you were being like really insane with it, you could flip like the King of Feral Imps like face up, face down, and resolve this thing like 6 times. Or literally infinite times if you just made a loop with King of the Feral Imps. Just searching like infinite reptile monsters from your deck to your hand. And I still don't think that's worth doing because you might as well FTK a different way if you were able to do all this. Meh. But okay, King of the Feral Imps can search Habakiri. Oh no. But okay, yeah, let's keep going. Wow, I wonder if there are still a lot of ways we could maybe search Habakiri. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 level 8 reptile monster from your deck to your hand. So if this card is banished, you target 1 reptile monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by card effects until the end of this turn. That effect doesn't really matter. So let's remove all this and let's see how many ways we have to search habakiri still after this. Okay. So let's say we ban all those cards, essentially. I mean, if you ban Herald and King of the Fairlands, it hits all those cards, so yeah, they're effectively useless-ish, maybe, for searching habakiri. But alright, surely there aren't that many ways we can randomly search habakiri. Cope. You know, I might as well throw some of these guys in there, just give them an honorable mention if you were actually playing a ritual deck. These guys can effectively search which one is it? I don't remember. These were kind of jank, but depending on the guy you reveal, like, you can just add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand with some of these effects up. Yeah, might as well just give these guys an honorable mention while we're here. But yeah, so we have Lamia. We have free prep. Yeah, we can pre-prep, search Habakiri. And if we're playing the archetypal cards, yeah, we have literally 3 Aramasa, 3 Saji, 3 Prayers, and these just raw search Habakiri. Or we can go like bring out Aramasa to search Habakiri. We can normal summon Aramasa to search Habakiri. We can go Saji to search Prayers to grab us a Habakiri. And we can have this to search us Habakiri. We can hard open Habakiri, which gives us access to Habakiri. And I mean, also worth mentioning, mentioning honorable mention, if we have like Murakumo in hand, and then we have Mitsurugi Ritual. This gets there also, because we can technically send whatever we want off of Ritual, and that there's ways to search like Habakiri with this. 2-card combo though, so that's something. Let's go into the more niche things. Vendread. Well, technically, there's actually something you might not know about the Vendread cards. They search any ritual blank. So, for example, Vendread Slayer here searches any ritual spell in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, okay? And then its kind of counterpart, Vendread Battle Lord, is able to search any ritual monster from your deck to your hand. So that's a thing. Great, isn't it? Technically then, if we wanted to, we could go Drytron. And Drytron, if you really want to, can search these cards, but the way you would play them works a little bit differently, because I believe you won't be able to activate Habakiri if you use the Drytron cards. Let's see. You cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summon / set the turn you activate this effect, so you wouldn't be able to special summon Saji. Yeah. This is a ritual spell, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can still search Mitsu Ritual and still somewhat do Mitsu combo if you have access to these cards, though. So not really feeling great about this. But yeah, I mean, those are just some honorable mentions. Now let's go with the really dumb methods, okay? So now if we wanted to be technical about it, we could go Curious. So it doesn't matter how you get into Curious. I don't really care how you get into Curious, but we'll get into Curious, okay? I think K9 has a way of getting into Curious. Let's see. Dark, Aqua, Earth. This is Wind. Anything else? Dark. I don't remember the line for this. I'm not sure I need to care, right? Wait, Noroi, Lupus, Izuna. You put these 3 onto the field, and then you get Curious. And it's actually not hard to do, is it? Yeah. I don't think it would be hard to do at all, really. But let's see. Normal summon Noroi. And then Izuna. We can special summon this with Gokul. Izuna sends Lupus. Lantern reborns the Lupus at some point. Yeah, okay, and you make Ripper, I guess. You can make Ripper with like Joko Lantern. I guess that it would be ideally using these two, yeah. You could also search a case for K9 to search Lantern later. Yeah. Either way, you use these two, and then you use these three, I guess, in theory, to then go into... Well, actually, does this have a lock on it? How does this work? It cannot be used as material for the XYZ summon of a light monster. Now, you can still use them as link material. So, Curious, and then with Curious here, we can send... Like, I don't think this line's like that good, but Curious sends Habakiri, and then from here, for fun, we're going to have an additional body because, of course, we do. And then we'll go into Fiendsmith. Like, this is definitely not the best way to do this, but this will be available for a long time, I think. So we'll go through Fiendsmith, yada yada, yeah. Go Requiem, Moon, whatever. Cycle through. Special summon this, special summon this. Then we can go into Ptolemy. However you spell this. Ptolemy M7. Ptolemy effect to add a monster on the field or in either graveyard. Return that target to the hand. If we wanted to be even dumber with this, I think there's actually a better line if we were playing like Vanquish Soul, actually. I think we might have enough bodies to do this. I mean, I'm not really checking. I don't care. We'll go Rock, and then we'll use Curious plus one additional body instead of going into Fiendsmith. We can just go into Firewall Dragon, and then we can do something with Firewall Dragon, I guess, afterwards. Question mark, you know, I don't know what you would want to do with this, but whatever. Firewall Dragon effect. Return Habakiri to my hand. Great. You know? How's this work again? Up to the number of monsters co-linked to this card. That would be 1, I guess. In the case of if this were to be co-linked with Rock of the Vanquisher, which very reasonable to happen, honestly. I think. I'm not really sure how far you can get into K9, Vanquish Soul, and where you would need the normal summon to make this feasible, but I think this is fairly doable. So might as well mention this. Not really particularly happy about this line, but you know, technically it works. And then you can just do Mitsu combo for whatever reason at this point. Oh, okay. I'm not saying it's like optimal to do this at all by any means, but the fact that you can do this, how am I supposed to feel about this? And you know, this isn't the only method we can Foolish Burial. So technically, if we want to do this an entirely different way, like I'm not saying this is going to be the bee's knees or anything like that. We can go Isolde, and then we can go, like I don't think this is that good at all, but Isolde special summons a monster, and we can special summon here Armageddon Knight. Okay, so let's see, Armageddon Knight, Foolish Burial, since Habakiri. Then we link out these two for Moon, go into Fiendsmith, add Habakiri to hand that way. And then in terms of adding to hand, we do actually have more options. Like, for example, I can actually go ahead and do Rahu Dracotail, and then we can go into Arthalion to add back Habakiri if I send Habakiri to the graveyard by any means. You know, just not as generic, arguably, to do this method because, you know, you need to kind of be playing Dracotail somewhat to do this. But, you know, if you were doing this method, boom, add Habakiri to hand. Because why not, I guess. You know, also worth mentioning, like, if we just need to bounce a card back to the hand, we actually have, like, a more ludicrous option. So I'll just go with a really ludicrous idea, right? So let's just assume they ban Firewall. Okay, we ban Firewall. We ban Ptolemy. Do I still have a way to, well, like outside of Arthalion, to bounce this back to my hand like magic in a really dumb way? Of course, I still have ways. Like, are we being serious here? So we're just going to Foolish Burial Habakiri, okay? Don't even worry too much how we do it. Like, I just genuinely don't care what method you're going to use. Okay, so you're just going to do it. And we should just accept that you can definitely do this. And Armageddon Knight's not the only way, right? So we'll go ahead from here. Now we'll go, this idea. We'll go Snake Eye. And Snake Eye, pretty accessible through a variety of things, you know, like Ritual, Sinful Spoil, Snake Eye. You can access this multiple ways. But basic idea here is we're going to go through some of the Snake Eye line, and we're going to go Flambridge effect, okay? Now we're going to go put Habakiri in our back row specifically with the effect of Flambridge. All right. And now to get this back to our hand, just because why not? We'll do it in the most flex way that I can think of possible. We're going to actually go ahead now, and we're going to, from this point, so we're at Snake Eye, right? So the method we're going to use to bounce this back is we're going to grab Zephyros. Yeah. Zephyros to bounce back the Habakiri, so we just have to get Zephyros into the graveyard as well here. And that's the method I've chosen, because why not? So real quick, I want to check if, what was the card called? Like, no, Recital Star, right? Yeah. Add 1 level 1 Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, that doesn't work. But what does work is, well, we have 2 different options to get access to, like, a Zephyros. We can do, technically, we can do Wystrix. We can do a few other Raid Raptor kind of guys, right? Let's see. What was it called? I can't think of the name. The rank 4. It just adds a card. Not really that difficult to just randomly send a card for no reason, right? So let's see. Which one was it? This one, Force Strix. Detach 1 material from this card, add 1 level 4 Darkwing Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Pretty much for fun, you know? We can make this other rank 4 from Zephyros. You know, if we wanted to go a more synchro route instead of getting Zephyros through like either Wystrix or Force Strix, we can just do this through Trick Unity cards. Like, this is very specific in how you would have to do it, but I mean, Gatorg. We just summon this by any means. So you might be thinking, oh, but you need a Dragon Tuner and then a non-tuner Winged Beast monster. And to that I say, nah. Actually, I'm pretty sure I can just Tzolk'in effect, actually. Which, you know, if you feel like going the Tzolk'in method, you know, you Tzolk'in, grab Gatorg, sending the Zephyros through the Gatorg, and then maybe you can find something to do with this. Don't really care. And then, you know, you have Zephyros here, and it's able to bounce back Habakiri in your back row to your hand through, like, Flambridge. Like, yeah, this is probably one of the most ridiculous ways I could think of to get into Habakiri. But I'm pretty sure there's still more ways to search Habakiri. How many of these are going to be 1 cards? Like, I don't even know at this point, honestly. There's just so much like random kind of ritual support. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Actually, didn't they? Wait, didn't they release this recently? What was this say? If this card is tributed for a ritual summon, you can add 1 ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Miracle Raven, huh? If I'm able to tribute this by whatever means, how would we get Miracle Raven into hand? Like, I genuinely just don't care at this point. I'm pretty sure you can prep this, right? Add a level 7 or lower ritual monster. Yeah, we're good enough for me. And then, how would we tribute Miracle Raven? I just genuinely don't really care, do I? Tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed 1. It can even tribute itself technically, no? Yeah, sure can. I guess you would need something to tribute this somehow. But I mean, the easiest thing I can think of to tribute this would be, you know, with going through like the Deal Bellstar stuff, then you go into Azamina, and then you grab a copy of Deception of the Sinful Spoils, and then you in Sinful Spoils tribute the bird, grab yourself a habakiri. Great. It works good enough. And then actually, like, if we want to be really dumb with it, we could play K9 with this, technically. So we can, like, just tribute summon over the Miracle Raven. And then add Habakiri that way. But we just need something to tribute for the Miracle Raven to special summon for whatever reason. Just anything, really. Can be a card in, like, hand. Could be absolutely nothing. Like, does it even really matter? And then we just resolve combo here. So if we want to be really dumb about it, I guess with Miracle Raven, we could also be playing like Venten, and then we could search all the degenerate light fairies we want. Great. Why not? Any other methods I can think of off the top of my head that is different from all of these methods? Let's see. So we want to search habakiri. This is a dark monster. Dark Contract, I believe, searches this. I think that's what the card was called. No. Magical Contractor. Add 1 spell from your hand to your opponent's hand, then add 1 level 7 or 8 dark monster from your deck to your hand. Like, I'm not going to say this card is necessarily that good, okay? But does it search habakiri? Yes. It definitely searches habakiri, right? So, yeah. You have just a few ways to access habakiri. And I mean, technically, we're never getting any less ways to search habakiri. We're only going to continuously get more and more ways to search habakiri. So that's great. Yeah. Just how many ritual monsters actually can randomly search habakiri, I wonder? Like, it's probably not a small amount. Pretty miserable to think about, huh? So yeah. Habakiri. A billion ways to search habakiri, huh? You gotta love all of the methods you can search habakiri. And I mean, there's probably some other cards similar to Lamia that can search habakiri, I think. There was an archetype, right? I don't remember the name of this archetype. It was some reptile archetype. Reptilian. Or something like that. Reptilian with a spelling like this. Oh, okay. What's this do? You can add reptile monsters with different names from your deck to your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with 0 attack. And there's a reptile lock on this, but only for the rest of the turn. So technically, if you could figure out a way to trigger the echidna here, this actually just fully gets into this. And this is actually generic to make. If you consider making this as almost a Link 3 instead of Link 2, because there's actually a generic Link 2 reptile monster. I don't know how many there are, but I know that we 100% have what's his face, Mr. Banish card, and if it was like if it was specifically a reptile, you draw 1 card or something. That guy, whatever his name was, Lizard Haggardos, right? Lizard Haggardos, link off, make echidna. If your opponent for some reason, like, I guess you could give them a 0 attack monster. Actually, wait. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0. Now, if you can just give your opponent a straight-up monster through whatever means, and then summon an echidna, this just searches habakiri, bro. Like, Are we going to argue this is the best method to search? No, no, definitely not going to argue that, but could this search habakiri? Yes. Yeah, why, yes, it could. How many other methods could there be? Like, I'm probably missing a lot. My mind is just like mush now. I have to think about this. So, yeah, maybe we should just consider banning habakiri. Maybe habakiri is the problem card, not all of these like other 20 billion cards that were like moderately just fine and don't really do much. In like all these contexts, is they're not really doing that much, in my opinion. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.